Yar. Most people here probably recognize that word as something to do with the sea, right? That's what pirates say. Yar. That's what you said to me before a minute ago. But yar is not a pirate word. Yar is a sailing word. And I actually like the way that Audrey Hepburn described it in the movie, what was it called? The Philadelphia Story, where she said, yar. That means easy to handle, quick to the helm, fast, right. When you say a ship is yar, that's what you mean. I never thought that I would be taken to this idea of sailing. I mean, why would I? I was not raised in a family of sailors. I'm a weak swimmer at best, and I hate looking into water and not being able to see the bottom. Sailing just never seemed like my thing. But about 10 years ago, I was at a sales meeting down in Long Island, and my friend and VP, Brian, had just bought a boat. And he decided, wouldn't it be great if we all went out on the boat for a day? And so I really couldn't get out of it. We headed out to the boat, and I really didn't know what to expect. Even going from the dinghy to the boat itself was an incredibly stressful transition for me. I was horrified. I didn't know what to do. But Brian, being ever the teacher that he is, he was great. He immediately had put everyone to work. He had us taking off covers and taking out cushions, stowing gear and opening beers. And I very quickly realized that, hey, you know what? Maybe there's something to this sailing thing. 10 o'clock in the morning and already having beer. We headed out that day for about 7 hours. We were out on the water for a long time. And Brian had us all doing all these different things. I learned the difference between tack and jibe. I learned how to trim a jib. Does anyone even know what that means? But I learned how to do it. You mean? I learned how to trim a jib, and I started to realize, you know, there really is something to this sailing thing. There's something about being in this boat as it's moving through the water. It's going almost as fast as the wind, heeled over on its side. The spray is coming up, you're getting wet, you feel the wind in your hair, and it's exhilarating to be out there on the water this way. I never did take the helm that day, but I did realize that this is kind of cool. Brian was great. He's had me out on his boat at least once a year ever since then. And so for several years, I would go out with him, we would go out with our whole crew, whatever. And I learned more and more about sailing. I learned more about how to trim the sails appropriately, how to work the lines, all these different things, to the point where I started to think, I need a boat. That's a very dangerous thought for a man to have, because the problem is that when you're married, it's never just up to you, right? I mean, not many men could go home and just say to their wife, we're buying a boat. No, that's not how things work in my life. And the problem that I have with this is that my wife is not Yar. Now, what did I say Yar was? Yar is easy to handle, quick to the helm, fast and bright. My wife is very bright. She walks into a room and smiles and brightens the entire room. My wife is fast. My wife usually realizes that I'm in trouble with her before I realize that I'm in trouble with her. She's very fast that way. And my wife is extremely responsive. You put her any type of dire situation, any type of emergency, she is the one who will get there right away and start doing things and taking control. It's that easy to handle part where I have the issue. But I developed a plan. This was about 6 years ago, and I started thinking, you know, if I can get her out on a boat, show her everything I've learned, maybe I can talk her into this boat. Well, we hadn't planned our summer vacation yet, so I had found this, they call it a camp, a cottage, down in Maine, on a lake, and with the cottage, they had an 18-foot sailboat. 18-foot sailboat, nice and small, on a small lake. This could be perfect, I thought. And I talked her into us going ahead and renting that cabin. We got down there late at night, and we looked out through the darkened windows to where the boat was supposed to be, and it just wasn't there. That should have been my first warning. We called the owner up, and he said, oh, well, there had been a horrible storm the weekend before, and the boat actually ended up getting pulled off. It got undone and got pulled away. But don't worry, someone's going to be bringing it back tomorrow. Okay, great. The next day, the boat shows up, and I say to the wife and kids, let's get out onto that water. Now here's the problem. We got down into the boat, all of us in our bathing suits, get into the dock, push away from the dock, and the wind is blowing straight in our face. There's no way for me to just sail away and get up the lake. No, we've got to tack all the way up. And for a novice sailor, this was a horrible experience. But you know what? An hour and a half later, we finally got up there. And now comes the fun part. We get to ride the wind all the way back. So I pull on the tiller, and it breaks off in my hand. That was the next problem that we faced. Okay, you know what? There was a little bit of a nub hanging out of the wood. I can grab onto that, and I can use that to steer us down. All we need now is the wind. What happened to the wind? The wind absolutely disappeared, and we literally had to row our way back, all the way down the lake, to get back to the dock. At this point, I'm absolutely exhausted, but look, there's the dock over there. All we have to do is go ahead and pull right up to the dock. It's really hard to steer these boats. Missed the dock entirely. Ended up, boom, nosing right into the bank, right into the trees. I was devastated. But Marisa, she came to the rescue. And she said to me, don't worry, I've got my water shoes on. I'll drop down into the water and I'll just pull us over to the dock. It's not more than chest height. Okay, fine. So I'm hanging onto the trees over here, and all what I hear is splash, blub, 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 blub. Yeah! Splash, blub, blub, blub. I turn around, and apparently Marisa had sat down on the edge of the boat and caught her bathing suit on the thing there, what do you call it? Yes. And she went sliding into the water and gave herself an atomic wedgie. Was literally hanging off the side of the boat, head into the water, either going to drown or die of laughter. Now I had a choice. I either grab her or I grab my camera. Well, I don't have PowerPoint set up, and I'm still married, so I think you can guess which one I grabbed. But one day, I will change her mind. And we will get that.